pretty much, Boss, as a personal homie, obviously, like, he's on his way to superstardom. You see, he got the gold braids, so he's ready to take over. So, Boss, man, you just been growing exponentially, and I know, for some people they might think it was like a 2-year thing, but I know you've been putting out music since 2014. Can you tell us about your process and kind of, the steps that you remember the most as you grew as an artist?
Yeah, I think, something that was always preached at Dreamville, and I think we were all blessed in the sense to have that was artist development. It was, make albums that people want to see you tour, you know what I mean? Work on your live show, put together like some cohesive bodies of work, which I'm proud to have done that. And it took me all over, obviously on my last tour, I got to touch South Africa and headline a couple shows. And I think we did like 70 some odd cities on that world tour. But I think this go around, I was just looking at my own career and challenging myself as to, what's the next frontier? What is the next challenge for me creatively and commercially? You know what I mean? And in a sense, I kind of wanted to approach that with intention. And that's how I got here. That's how I got to a song like The Jackie. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not even though I have like an album in the works, I'm not really tripping so much on an album as much as I want to make some big records. I felt like it was just time for me to start taking these swings and be a little more calculated, and just even the way we curate these records, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm like, I feel like I'm like, I ain't underground, but I'm underground. You feel me? And like, I don't want to stay underground, And I also find like with any creative process, it's a puzzle. Like, how do I achieve this? How do I get that done? And then the Jackie is kind of like the first step in doing so. It's kind of like we both approached that song with intention to where we wanted to take it. And it's kind of dope to see it get the response we wanted it to.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it was you guys did perfect with the timing of the release, and just sonically, it looked like it was just a fun song to make. You know what I mean? Like J.Cole looks like he's having a lot of fun. Obviously, TJ does the fun turn up music too.
Yeah.
And it's just even because T-Minus made the beats. I know T-Minus have worked a lot very closely with Cole. Are you working with T-Minus closely on your next project?
Yeah, Minus got another joint. Him. So when me and Cole did that record, we did another record. We were actually working on the off season. I think we were doing like Let Go of My Hand that day. And we had like 30 minutes left in the session. Cole's like really like regimented with his time,
Yeah.
So he was just like, yo, let's pull up a beat and like let's just try to do something like brand new. And then I think obviously the content on the off season is a little heavier. All the songs we did on that were just a little heavier, a little moodier.
Yeah.
So he was like, I just got a pack from T-Minus. That's the first beat he played was the Jackie. And we just like, yeah, like that's the one. Like, you don't even need to play nothing else. Like, just load that one up. And it's like you said, it was a lot of fun. Like, we did it. Cole was kind of pushing me that week to like try not writing stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just get on the mic, like do what you feel, and then you can go in after and refine the words. And if want to make lines a little witty or whatever the case may be. But it was all about really just feeling it out, doing what felt good, finding the melody, finding your tone, all of those things. So it was kind of like an exercise in songwriting. It just ended up, being a record.
Yeah, 100%. I thoroughly enjoyed the video. I enjoyed the fun as it's just like a feel good record, And I feel like
yeah.
a
It's the
lot of
summer. It's definitely a summer New York vibe. It's funny because when I did my verse, I was explaining to Cole the inspiration behind it. And the Jackie is like it's a highway that takes you from Queens to Brooklyn. And I was telling him, like, growing up in New York in the summer, if you might go to like the park, you might go to like a festival, you might be on the subway, you might meet a girl, and you might link with her and be like, all right, like, let's hang out next week. And then, she's like from the Bronx or Brooklyn, a different borough. And you pull up out there and it's like every dude on her block is outside, like ice grilling you. Like, one dude might have been her first crush. Another dude is like, you know what I mean? The dude that's after her now. And it's like, it's always that energy in the summer. So it's like, it's a very relatable New York summer story, which is why we put TJ on there. Cause like, all right, now we need another borough to come on and kind of represent, you know, their summer New York story. And TJ went crazy for the Bronx, of course.
Yeah, which is my hometown. So,
Yes, sir.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the music video. So this is the Jackie, and I just want to say, boss man, like it's been great to see you grow over the years, and you could definitely see like how you challenge yourself, you know, musically. You know, working with Kiddo, to Shane, you know, how you always
Yeah,
inclusive with the young African artists that are making noise. So I really appreciate that.
no
Um,
doubt.
and I'm really excited to see how far you're gonna go. You know,
My
um,
dog, appreciate you, man. I need one of them sumo nights.
oh man, like you and me both, man. It's been a couple years for me. So what I
Yeah,
want to do
right.
now is open up the floor, get some questions in.
What's up, boss?
What's going on?
Easy, man. Easy, man. I think at the top you mentioned like your standing sort of in terms of you being not underground but underground, right? And you
Right.
saying that you don't want to be there. I wanted to know how do you plan to break out of that through your music, and what direction would this album be in, and how would it help to your plight of not being in that bracket of underground?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, I've thought about it with a lot of intent, and obviously, you don't. That was like the art in this song, like a song like the Jackie. I think the art in it is to be able to make bigger songs with wider appeal that can appeal beyond your core fan base, but also not leave your core fan base feeling like who's this dude? You know what I mean? Like this don't sound like Boss. Like it's knowing your core fan base, but knowing that you want to grow beyond that. So even like with my album, there's a lot of records that are gonna appeal to like the very core of my fan base. That might have fallen in love with my music through like Too High to Riot, which was much more moody and introspective. Because a lot of the album I did obviously during quarantine. So it was a lot of just like me and in four walls and like getting my thoughts out, and very much what you'd expect from like a Dreamville project, you know what I mean? For lack of better words, like it's very conscious and all of those things. But also for me, it was like, okay, within the span of that and still being cohesive and concise, how do I also craft these singles, which is not a thought I really ever had. All my other albums, I was just kind of making the songs and making like a cohesive album and not really giving too much thought to singles. They just happened along the way. But like I mentioned earlier, it's an intentional reasoning behind it. Like I said, it's trying to grow bigger, trying to grow my audience. And then also it's just the challenge of it. As an artist, you always want to challenge yourself to reach a new height or reach a new goal, reach a new level, and to just kind of maintain your artistic integrity along the way. So, it's definitely a balancing act, but I think that's kind of the fun part is to make these songs and be like, yeah, this fits, like all around this fits, and it's bigger than, you know, the song, like the rest of the album. So there's a few like that. I actually have another single I'm gonna put out after we're done with the Jackie, and it features Gunna, which was like, that's like another collaboration no one would expect, like me and Gunna, just like they wouldn't expect, me and Cole to be on the track with Lil Tjay. So I've just been consciously trying to, get out of my comfort zone, get out of, our circle of like the same collaborators, and just try to find other artists and bring them into my sonic landscape, bring them into my sonic world. And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Dope.
that's dope, and it's organic too because I mean you do go out to the club and you do have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
exactly.
yeah, it's like it's not an unnatural thing. Do we have another
Yeah.
question lined up?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear me this side.
We can hear you.
All right, what's up, brother?
What's happening, Bass? K-Easy here from Cape Town, South Africa, bro. Firstly, man, big fan of your stuff for a number of years, a number of your projects. And I'm quite happy to hear you deciding to not necessarily go another direction, but just sort of try and open up the game. I do think that a lot of the time the conscious raps get so lost. But you know, collaborations with guys like Lil Tjay are definitely different. If we were to sort of give you a pen and a paper and you could write down any musicians now that you are going this direction that you would like to work with. I know you just mentioned Gunna is somebody who you're going to be working with, which is very different for Bass.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Very different.
For sure.
I'm kind of shocked where I'm sitting right now. But I mean, if you're opening up to guys like Gunna, who else are you sort of keen to work and collaborate with? And what sound are you guys going for? More jiggy, more up tempo, or more relaxed where we have to sit down and listen, or, you know, for a bigger appeal, more pop?
Yeah, you know, I think first of all, to start with the artist, man, there's a lot of people I'm a fan of. Like, I would love to get in with Pharrell. I love, you know, Kodak Black. I would love to do something with Kodak. NBA Youngboy, Rowdy Rebel, Bobby Shmurda. There's a whole host of artists, especially because they're from the town, like they're from New York. I'd love to do something with them. But it's like, I feel like, and especially collaborating has always been a big part of my process. But after we did Revenge of the Dreamers and did those like 11 days, just working with like a million different artists, I think it really helped me open my process even more than it was, you know, and kind of approach these songs from almost with a producer's ear as far as, okay, like how do we keep the song, you know, dynamic? Like, what voice can we interject here? You know, who's gonna bring something that's so different that keeps the listener's attention, you know what I mean, as opposed to just hearing the same voice over and over, which is kind of why TJ worked out so well, because he's just got such a unique voice. As far as sound, man, you know, I look everywhere, high and low, for my sound. Like, and it's like, even on my last album, I think I try to keep it well-rounded, because at the end of the day, like, I'm African. I grew up, spent some time in Europe, and then I was really like kind of molded in New York, which is a very international city in itself. So I think a lot of my albums kind of sonically tell that story, especially with Milky Way. Like, there's some tracks on there that are like South African, like house inspired, and then there's tracks that are like New York, like gritty rap, and then there's tracks that, you know, almost have like a French house sonic landscape. So I don't think that's gonna change. I think I've always been able to tell my story the best through sound, as far as the places I come from and the places I draw inspiration from. So I don't think that's necessarily going to change. A lot of it is just sonics. You know, you go out to the club and you'll be like, well, you know, my hi-hats aren't bright enough, or, you know, my 808 ain't big enough. And then it's about, now that I'm able to identify those things more and more, and I'm just blessed to have the resources, someone like T-Minus, to be like, yo, you know, like Minus, or Diesel, who works very closely with him, another good homie and producer of ours. Like, you know what I mean? I could do a song, I could do a reference, and then be like, all right, you know, swap these drums out for me. So it's just about kind of knowing the times we're in, being aware of the sounds that are moving people, and try to implement all of those. I need to get with the Mapiano bros too. I need one.
Oh, I got you.
I need
I was
one.
hoping you were gonna say that. I was hoping you would say that.
Let's take it there. Let's take it there. I need one.
That's like
the talk of the world.
Anybody else got a question?
Yeah.
I got one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted, obviously you worked with T-Minus on this record. Which were the other producers that you worked with, like, on the project? Like, who can we expect you working with on this project?
So T-Minus is on there. He's on another record.
Nice.
Diesel, I work with Diesel very closely. I met Diesel through T-Minus when they came down for the Revenge of the Dreamers sessions in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's super dope. And then a lot of it is like the in-house team that I've always worked with, Ron Gilmore, you know, Cedrick Brown, Cole produced a record on there.
Nice.
The homies Diamond, and well, Soundwave, which not TD Soundwave, but there's some cats from Harlem named Soundwave that I work with. They did the song Housewives for me a couple years ago. But it's taken a lot of that. It's taken a lot of the internal team and the sound. I think the kind of the meeting point is like, I'll take some of those references we start, and then I'll go and kind of redo the sonics in post-production, you know, with Diesel or T-Minus or Cole, just to make sure that, you know, the sound is current and you know, it's really all in the drums. It's like, you know what I mean? If your drums are not hitting right, it's just gonna be hard to cut across and cut through. So that, but you know, it's also like these guys are musically making what inspires me. So it's kind of like it's been a collaborative process of like finding the music that really inspires me and makes me write and draws the melodies and the words and the flows out of me. And then being like, okay, now that we have this reference, how do we now like sonically beef up the record? And that's mostly been with Diesel and T-Minus and Cole kind of overseeing that aspect.
Nah, that's dope. I'm mad excited, bro. That's dope.
Appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
Yo, what up?
Oh, my dog, what up?
Easy, fam. What's going on?
Good to see you, bro.
Great seeing you too, man.
Sure.
You know, you're one of those rappers that's very vocal about a whole lot of stuff, and I think the world at large has so much that we've been going through. When it comes to subject matter on this album, like what are some of the things you are expressing yourself on with this project?
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of it being that it was written during lockdown and during quarantine. And it's interesting though, because even before that started, I had just come off tour and gotten some time at home. And I find that, you know, my writing always kind of is a contrast of my current situation. So like if I'm on the road, I might tend to write about like my home issues. And when I'm home, I might draw on like road life and write like a party or like a feel-good record. It's always kind of the opposite. But being that I was just locked down so long, it was just a lot of my thoughts, you know. It was a lot of it's kind of moodier in a lot of ways. It's funny because the Jackie isn't necessarily a representation of the body of the album. You know what I mean? It's a lot more what a lot of us were going through in the lockdown. You know, you're kind of feeling like your life is stalling out. You know what I mean? You're feeling like all your goals and everything you were pursuing is kind of put on hold, and you're lacking that interaction, you know what I mean, with other human beings. So a lot of it comes from just trying to get out of a dark space.
Cool. Right? And are you out of that dark space? When you listen,
yeah, for sure. I'm back outside.
Yeah,
I'm back outside. You know what I mean? I'm back outside. We got through it. How you guys doing out there, man? Y'all, I feel like y'all been locked down longer than damn near anybody, bro.
Outside for a good like 6 months when we was locked down, and then they just got back on lockdown.
Okay, so it turned up though. Y'all got back outside for a little bit.
No, we back in lockdown.
Damn, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Man. I've been dying to get out there, but every time I speak to the homies, they're just like, now's not the time.
Yeah,
it's not. Now's not the time, man. Now's not the vibe. Just send us the positive vibes through the music right now.
I got you. Yeah. But we showing up as soon as it's time, we gonna show up.
Yeah. Because y'all know
we miss too much, just as much as you do.
Man, I need it. Those are some good times.
So you and Keto did not reconnect on this album?
So not yet, but possibly. I'm low key. I'll keep it a buck with you. I've been working on like a 5-6 song EP that I want to drop post album, and it's just a lot of like the African inspired records. So me and Kiddo connected for a couple joints on that, but one of them I like so much I might just put it straight on the album if it makes sense, you know. But always like, you know, I always flirt with like 1 or 2 songs per project that are like, you know, inspired by the continent. And I just wanted to kind of give it like a whole EP of me working in that sound, and you know, release it like before I come back out there. So that's like a plan that I have in the back of my mind, and we slowly been working through it. So yeah, me and Kiddo did a joint for that. Obviously, we did a joint for his album that he put out.
Yeah.
You know, Kiddo's my guy though. Like that's my brother. Like, and you know, it's easy work every time we link up. I low key met Kiddo at Sumo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I met Kiddo at Sumo. We had a little section next to each other. We started drinking, and then we ended up being there the next night again. And then like the next 10 nights, I just kept seeing him in the club. I was like, yo, let's make a song. I keep running into you. So, you know, now that's my brother now.
Did Dreamville send Giannis a like merch pack? He's rocking the merch the whole time, man.
Yeah. Giannis is our guy. You know, the Bucks came to the Dreamer sessions, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. They came as a whole team, and they catered us a dinner at the studio and stuff. So we had some of the homies went to the game yesterday. They was on the floor like doing little what are they, the Snow Angels and the confetti. So Giannis, Chris Middleton, I'm happy for a lot of those dudes, man. The Nigerian freak. We don't call him the Greek freak.
Man. I always love like connecting like this, and boss, thank you, because a lot of artists don't take the time to connect with the African counterparts, and you know everybody here is super influential in the continent.
Nah, come on, you know that's home for me.
Yeah.
I gotta tap in with y'all for sure. Appreciate y'all all taking the time out today and hopping on here with me, and you know, look forward to seeing y'all soon on the other side.
All right, man. Everybody stay blessed up, stay safe, stay healthy, and much love.